Welcome back, everybody, to Snetterton for our third and final race of the Clubmans Sports Prototype Championship that will be coming up very, very shortly. We've already had two races over the course of this weekend. The first of those taking place yesterday, where we saw Clive Wood come home to claim the victory from Steve Dickens and Jared Lester. Clive Wood claiming his third win of the season in the process, and for Jared Wood, that was his first podium. In the other classes, Class A, we saw Alan Cook come home for his fifth class win of the season. Maurice Hart took top honours in Class 2, his first win of the season. And Martin Walker also claimed top honours in Class B for the first time in the year. That was yesterday's race. We had another race earlier on today for the Clubman Sports Prototype Championship, race 2 of 3 that we've got. The grid for race 2 was formed by the lap time set in race number 1, and it was Cody Tree that came through to win his first race of the season. He would win the race overall from Steve Dickens in second place and Pete Richings in third, but the class wins in the other classes. In CSP3 Class A of that, it was David Whale who finished 6th overall, his first class win of the season. Maurice Hart backed up his first class win from yesterday with another one in the CSP Class 2. And the same was done by the number 25 car of Martin Walker, who claimed his first class win yesterday, and did the same again in Class CSP3, Class B, for the classic cars. And we'll see whether he might be able to make it a full sweep of what is going on in this third and final race of the weekend that's coming up very, very shortly indeed. So the cars will be released onto the grid and we will see them line up, and then they'll be out there for a further 15-minute race. So again, if you weren't with us earlier on, maybe you're new to Clubmans, maybe you're just tuning in for this final race of the weekend. Class CSP1 are for the cars maximum of 2 litres or motorcycle engines up to 1600 cc's. Mike Evans, the chairman of the Clubmans Registered, should be joining me again for this one. He'll just be leaving the assembly area now because his daughter yet again is out in this race, that being Samantha Evans. Class CSP2 is for the Clubman Sports Prototype cars that run the 1600cc MGK series engines. That's the old Rover engine. That is sealed, and there are only, 3 people allowed to rebuild those engines on those cars. And then we have Class CSP3, which is the classic cars in reality. So they're pre-83s, and if they run in Class A of that, they run the 1700cc Ford Crossflow full race engine. If they're in Class B, it's a Formula Ford engine in reality, so it's the 1600. The unreboard engines. So the cars lining up on the grid. There's Steve Dickens, who so far this weekend has had a couple of second places, hasn't had a win. It's the only circuit so far he's not had a win at, because he claimed a win in the second of the 2 races at Donington Park. He claimed a win in the second of the 3 races that took place at Silverstone. Long-time racer gives us a wave within the Classic Clubmans. He's been around for, within the Clubmans Champion, has been around for many, many years indeed. Peter Richings, the man from Coventry, who managed to finish on the podium overall earlier on today, which is only his second overall podium visit of the season. There is Mike Yules, who has raced a range of different things over the years. Lots of classic cars that we see Mike Yules racing in. And in the race earlier on today, he finished in 4th position, so went 2 places better than he did in yesterday's race, where he finished in 6th place overall. We have lost a couple of cars along the way as well, because retirements for David Whale, he has withdrawn from this particular race. So we've lost the number 14 car. We've lost the 18 car of Richard Gilmore, who has withdrawn. 89 Brendan Hurd has also fallen the same way. And for the number 17 car of Alan Cook, who retired on the very first lap earlier on today, well, he is back out, but he has changed car. And because he has changed car, he has now moved to the back of the grid. So he is going to be starting off the very final row of the grid, which is just about, I think, to come into position now. And then once we've got everybody there is Alan Cook at the wheel of not his green car that he was in the race early on. That's the red number 17 car towards the tail end of the field. So they are all lined up. We should have 26 cars to go in this one. So we are 2 or 3 down from the start of the weekend. The 1-minute board is held aloft, and then off they will head onto their final formation lap on the build-up to what is our final race for the Clubman's Sports Prototype Championship here at Snetterton, before they then start to unpack things up at Alton Park on the 24th of July for what is the double-header meeting there. at Alton Park, rounds 10 and 11 of the championship, and then they'll be up to Croft in North Yorkshire for a treble header, on to Brands on the Indy circuit for a treble header, and they'll finish the season at Donington Park with 2 races. So they head off on their final formation lap. Let's just then guide you through the grid for this final race for the Clubman Sports Prototype Championship here at Snetterton. It is Cody Tree who starts on pole position, with Steve Dickens that sits alongside, and row 2 of the grid is number 47 car of Pete Richins alongside 67, that being Mike Yules. Row 3 of the grid sees 66, Adrian Lester, lined up alongside the 65 car of Ian Crombie. And row 4 of the grid is number 4, which is Steve Chaplin, alongside 76, Maurice Hart. The 5th row of the grid, 84, Michelle Haywood. And for company, it's car number 20, which is Matthew Gauthier-Thornton, with row 6 being number 55, Ben Mallock, alongside 70, Steve Everson. The 7th row of the grid is 68, which is Jared Lester. I think he should make progress from there, alongside 87, Samantha Evans. And row 8 is 25, Martin Walker, and number 53, which is Paul Freeman. The 9th row of the grid is the car of Roger Watton, alongside 77, which is Gareth Salter, and row 10 of the grid is number 5, which is Neil Chapman, and for company it's 62, John Lambert. On to the 11th row of the grid, it's 42, Pippa Tanner Wood, and 40, Mike Upton. Row 12 is Clive Wood. Watch out for him from the back of the grid. Contact was made between himself and Cody Tree, who went on to grab the win earlier on. Cody was deemed to be the driver at fault, but Clive retired, and as finishing positions from the race earlier on dictates this grid, he's got progress to make from that 23rd position on the grid. Alongside him is going to be number 54, Barry Webb, and the final row of the grid is 34, which is Sean Hurley, and number 17, the change of car, sees Alan Cook go to the very back of the grid. So that's the way that they line up for this final race here at Snetterton. And lots of weaving just being done from side to side to try and build those final little bits of temperature into the cars. We've seen one good start and one bad start from Cody Tree so far over the course of this weekend. What is this race going to bring to him as they are about to propel themselves onto what, if we go green all of the way, should be about 8 laps. That's what they've done in the 2 previous 15-minute races. Mike Evans from the Clubman's Register joins me again. Mike, we've lost 3 cars along the way. We've had a change of car for Alan Cook.
That's right.
There's a few stories.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. No, so Alan's engine had a massive hole in the side of the block.
Oh dear.
You could see the crank, no problem at all, but there was a conrod and all the bits missing, obviously. So, and Mallock's have got this car which they've just built up as a hire car. They brought it with them to demonstrate it, and they managed to get it finished in time.
That was rather fortunate.
Yeah, indeed. Some bits and pieces, and Alan's got everybody else's permission to allow him to race in it. So they're giving it a go. So this is one way of shaking down the racing car. It's not the way I would normally recommend, but it's good to see.
And again, for him to swap cars, it has to be agreed by all of the competitors. And again, that shows the real ethos of Clubman's racing. Yes. Everybody's saying, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
I think one of the other competitors actually lent him the fire extinguisher system.
Brilliant.
One of the guys had already had other problems and pulled out. And that is just typical of Clubman's. Everybody helping each other.
Everybody rolling their sleeves up and mucking in. One big family, isn't it, Clubman's? Has been for years. Has been for years. Yeah. So, who's your money on, Mike, for this final one of the weekend?
No, it's a good one because obviously Clive's at the back. Cody, I think, has learnt a lot. He's obviously he got 2 points on his licence for his little incident with Clive in the last lap of the last race. So hopefully he's learnt, and obviously he looked after the car, brought his tyres on. Now I don't expect him to get a good start. I would think Steve's probably going to get away first. And obviously Pete Richings is always fast starting. Yep. So, and then hopefully he'll just settle there halfway through the race, then he'll put his foot down and go for it. So it'll be interesting to watch.
Well, we'll find out very shortly because the final row of the grid is just coming into position now. We will see once the green flag is waved at the tail end of the field. Up goes the 5-second board. The revs will begin to rise and we will get our final Clubman Sports Prototype Championship race underway here at Snetterton. Cody Tree and Steve Dickens on the front row of the grid. It's not a bad start, you know, from Cody Tree. He got his foot down, and Steve Dickens, I don't think, is going to have the upper hand as they head up towards Ritchie's for the first time.
Indeed, no, he looked to get away quickly, didn't he, now? And as always, Pete Richings is right up there as well, so class battle. Obviously, Michelle's lost a few places to Maurice Hart. Maurice is always fast starting in that car. And then you've got Martin Walker in the big class, and Barry's right at the back, and you see Barry in the red and white car moving over there. So no, that will be fascinating.
Yeah, those cars that had problems in the race earlier on have got work to do. The likes of Barry Webb, the likes of, as we've heard from Clive Wood, but it's Cody Tree that leads. Steve Deckins in second place. Pete Richings there in third place. Mike Yules is in fourth place. The two Leicesters have got themselves together as well, haven't they? Father and son. Adrian Lester just ahead of Jared.
Yes, indeed. No, that's good going and everything. Yep.
Well, that means that's a very good start for Jared Lester, because he would have been outside of the top dozen on the grid. Lots and lots of
Clive
breaks from Clive Wood. Just gets it anchored up behind Michelle Haywood. Nearly loses out also to Ben Mallock. He's pushing in the early stages, but a big long lock-up like that, would that have flat-spotted the tyres?
That will have flat-spotted the tyres, I'm sure it will have done, yes. So.
Which that means his eyeballs are going to be rattling around, aren't they?
No, indeed. No, you'll know about that from the end of the race. And Matt has just got inside Morris there for the Class 2 lead.
That's the fight that's been going on all weekend, really, isn't it, in Class 2? The yellow car of Maurice Hart under pressure from Matteo Gauthier-Thornton, who's gone through, but already Cody Tree stretching his legs, built a margin, hasn't he?
Yeah, interesting. Let's see how it pans out, see how it works out.
We'll have to wait and see. So up towards Brundle, on towards Nelson for the first time. Cody Tree leads the race. Steve Dickens, then the car with the white stripes down the nose of it. Pete Richings. Mike Yules coming under pressure from Jared Wood, though.
Yeah, Jared's pushing him strong there, isn't he? So interesting round corners, how it goes.
Can the Clubman 35 work its way through one of the couple of motorcycle engine cars we've got in the field? He's going to try all the way around the outside to get the inside for Murray's, but no, it's not quite going to work. It's still just about the Mallock Mark 27 of Mike Yules that hangs on to fourth.
Yeah, I mean, Mike is an experienced driver. Obviously raced at Le Mans many years ago, and that he's a fast competitor, lots of experience. He'll make it hard work, I think, for young Jared to try and get past him.
They'll both be trying as hard as they possibly can, and neither of them are really falling away from the back end of Pete Richings either, are they? So Richings third, Yules fourth, Jared Lester, they're upholding family honours at the moment in what is fifth position. Dad in sixth place. Yeah. That little bit further back, isn't he?
Yeah, he's coming under attack. Was it from Clive?
I think it's Clive Wood, yeah, who in the first lap gained 15 positions, did Clive Wood. We thought he'd come through the field. I didn't think he'd come through that quickly.
There's Alan Cook actually in the car, so that's a real good shakedown. He's moved right up, hasn't he? So what's he now? 20th
position,
yes. Yeah, no, that's good for a shakedown test.
Because he's moved car, is he eligible to score championship points because he's moved
cars?
No,
he's on the invitation class, yeah. And we just saw Martin Walker. Here we are with Martin. He's won the Class B twice today, and having never won it with our series at all. He's actually had 2 wins today, so that's really, really good.
Yeah, 1 win yesterday, wasn't it? 1 win today. Yeah. So a bit like buses, you wait for one and 2 come along at once.
Indeed.
Could he make it a hat trick?
I would think so. I guess because Barry's the main challenge, and he's obviously some way behind.
He's some way back, isn't he? Yeah, he's some way back. Is Barry Webb in Class B? In fact. Yeah, he's down in 21st position, whereas this car here we're looking at, the number 25 car's 14th. Yes, so there's lots of ground for Barry Webb to try and make up.
Yeah, and he's just challenging Paul Freeman in the Ardmore, obviously not in the same class, but no, that's really is going well there.
The Ardmore, we mentioned yesterday, that's the old Crichton Brown car, isn't it, from many years ago?
Yes, looked after by. So what's going on? So Michelle's obviously Morris got past Morris, and I guess she's actually hauling in Matt at the moment, so going there, and then we see Paul Freeman and Martin. So, and then we have
Gareth Salter under attack as well, isn't he?
From Samantha. So Samantha was determined to, because she did really well in the last race, she was going to go on strong. She obviously lost a few places on the start. So,
yeah, well, Gareth was ahead of her, was behind her at the beginning of this lap, so that's a place gain for Gareth Salter, because he's now ahead of Samantha Evans.
And Paul Freeman was behind her on the grid, so yeah, not going quite to the plan that she had in mind. So see how she gets on.
You'll know how the car was set up. It's set up to come on stronger as the race goes on.
No, yeah, it's fairly well balanced, and we did some changes for the race this morning. She was really happy with the car. She said it really handled well and that. So we haven't done anything because we thought it would be well. So it'd be interesting to see how she gets on. So we got Neil Chapman here. Now Neil had a problem with the gearbox, and as I said for race 2, he and Steve Everson went all the way down to London to get Steve's gearbox out of the car he's building and put it in this car, and obviously to good effect.
Yeah, it's working well, isn't it? Yeah, so difficult start to the weekend.
Samantha going well there. So what's the bit under the car? I need to have a look what that is. Amazing what you see on the television.
It is, absolutely, yeah. You see it on the TV. At least now when the car's back in the workshop, you can have a look.
I think it's just a breather pipe.
Now, Clive Wood is ahead of both Jared Wood and Mike Yules, so he's gained a further couple of places there. He's up to 4th position now, isn't he, off the back of the grid?
Yeah, that's a brilliant drive.
And he's knocking on the door, I think, of Pete Richings as well, so it wouldn't surprise me if he's in the overall podium spots by the end of this lap, and there's still plenty of time to come as well.
Yeah, so we've got the gap between Cody and Steve is about 3 seconds, so no, and then back 9 seconds to Pete, so he's got some going. So no, and here's Alan in the, as we said, in the car that's really on the shakedown test. So that's obviously going well. So he's obviously must be enjoying himself in that car.
Yeah, he's running in 19th position. He's got Barry Webb sitting behind him, and just ahead there is also, by the look of things, another car that he's trying to do battle with.
Yeah, no, so we've got a good old dice going on here. So the Clive there just going after shot with challenging Pete Riching, though he's still behind Pete, so no, that's good.
Yeah, apologies if you're watching on Facebook. We gather there's a small issue with the feed. YouTube absolutely fine now, so thanks for joining us. If you're watching on Facebook, move over to the YouTube feed and it should resolve the technical issues that you might be having at your end. 4-car train absolutely together as they head over the start-finish line. Pete Richings under enormous pressure from Clive Wood, who looks one way, looks the other, throws him a dummy up the inside. Pete Richings is not having it though, sweeps straight across the nose of Clive Wood, having absolutely none of that. The man from Coventry, for the moment, hangs on to the place.
Yeah, as I say, Pete is always a tough competitor, always difficult to get past, always drives a wide car. He's legendary for that, and he's a good overtaker in reverse. So no, this is an interesting old battle that's going to happen here.
Yeah, a bit like Barry Webb. He's been around Clubmans racing for years and years and years, hasn't he, Pete Richings?
Yes.
There's not a lot he doesn't know.
Indeed, no, very, as you say, very, very knowledgeable. Yeah. Okay, so he's defending already, going up into the hairpin here. So
yeah, protecting that inside line, isn't he?
Clive going to go around the outside? Oh yes, well done, Clive.
So despite that flat spot on his tyres, it doesn't seem to be hampering at the moment, does it, Clive Wood?
No, he's using the track, and obviously now Mike Yules is keen to get past Pete. This will be interesting. They had, whoa, that's, I don't know, Pete.
That looked fairly easy, that overtake there.
I'm going to say whether Pete's got a problem, because obviously Mike and Pete had a first corner incident at Silverstone where they touched each other and everything like that. So, but no, whether Pete's got a problem or picked up some dirt or something, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed as though Clive Wood, that was a genuine overtake, and Pete didn't make it easy, but he didn't really put up a lot of resistance to Mike Yules, and that was a strange one, that. Yeah. So huge advantage that our race leader has compared to Clive Wood. So Clive Wood might be up in the podium places, but the leading pair are well and truly away. Last lap through, though, it was the second place car of Steve Dickens that popped in the fastest lap of the race that we've seen, 1 minute 56 point, excuse me, 863. So he is not letting Cody Ware go. He was, what, 9/10 of a second quicker than the race leader.
That's right, and I just wonder whether Cody's gone a little bit too hard too soon and I'm going to run into the same problems he did. But no, has he just gone by now? He looks like he's got fastest lap.
Yeah, he has. Cody's picked his pace up again, and has he re-established the fastest lap at a 1 minute 55.213. Mike Yules still under pressure from Jared Wood, but there's no way through as yet. So Cody Tree leads, Steve Dickens seconds, Clive Wood third at the wheel of the 50 car, and then Mike Yules under pressure from the car of Jared Lester, with Pete Richings having dropped to the tail end of the train, but he's not dropped any further away, has he?
No, he hasn't, having been overtaken. He's now looks like he's coming back stronger. So Jared putting his nose there, no, not quite, but no, that's a good old battle for 4th place.
It is a great battle for 4th place, but it's still the Mallet Mark 27 that just hangs on to it from the Clubman 35, whilst all of the time the slightly older Mark 23 of Clive Wood begins to pull away from them all. Now, Clive Wood's pace, is he catching the pair ahead? No, I think third is probably as good as it's going to get for Clive Wood, because we've only got 6 minutes remaining. And as for class leaders at this stage, number 71 Cody Tree leads the race overall and leads Class 1. Class 2 is being led by car number 20, which is the car of Mathieu Gauthier-Thornton. Then down in Class A, it is going to be the number 4 car of Steve Chaplin, the Phantom, that leads Class 4, and Class A. Yep. And Class B is being led, as it has all weekend, really, by Martin Walker doing a great job.
No, and Barry's not really inside. He's not really closed the gap, has he? So no. So Samantha's dropping back. Just saw Barry behind here, Alan Cook. So I say Alan doing the test driving and everything like that. But obviously the car's going well, so that's good to see.
Amazing, isn't it? Yeah, the test, the development car, take it out of the back of the trailer. Very little time to prep that car as well. also trying to go and see the clerk of the course to get everybody to agree that you can come out in a different car, and knowing full well that if they agree, you get put to the back of the grid as well.
Yeah.
So here is our Class B leader, the number 25 car, the green car that we're looking at. Still giving the Ardmore of Paul Freeman a hard time, isn't he?
We actually have a battle going on for Class 2. Matt Gauthier of Thornton is only 0.8 of a second ahead of Michelle Hayward, so there must be a good old tussle going on, as always, for Class 2. Obviously, in the second race, we saw a good old battle between the three of them, so that must still be going on.
Yeah, we'll see whether we can pick up on that. The green number 20 car of Mathieu Gauthier Thornton, with the largely of the number 84 car, which sitting behind is the white and red car of Michelle Hayward. So yeah, we'll try and see whether we can pick up on that battle for the lead of Class 2, but that is also 8th and 9th place overall in the race. 4.5 minutes to go to resolve the squabbles. The lead advantage looking as though it has settled around about 2.5 seconds at this stage. So there is Mathieu Gauthier Thornton. So there is the number 20 car, and we should see the white and red car. There she is. Yeah, Michelle Hayward, not that far behind. So fantastic stuff by the camera crew to pick up on that and show us the squabble.
Yeah, and Michelle is always using all the track and a bit more. Obviously, a puff of dust came up as she came out of the first corner, so that's true Michelle's style.
Well, she's the former champion, isn't she, from 2018. Yeah. She was runner-up last year as well in the class, wasn't she?
That's right. Yeah, and she did a couple of seasons in Fun Cup racing, which really brought her driving on and everything, and she really shocked Stuart Hall, who's here in the GT Cup. Stuart was teamed up with her, and he could not believe how quick Michelle was. Of all the ladies he's raced against, he just could not get over how quick Michelle was. So really, that was a pity it hasn't evolved to something, up a higher category over the years.
Well, it is, but also it'd be a shame because you'd lose her from Clubmans as well at the same time, wouldn't you?
Yeah. No, she's really part of the family. I meant to say last night we obviously had a big barbecue spread down the paddock there, but Michelle, you could was enjoying herself to the full. Everybody could hear it.
And one of 3 ladies we've got on the grid this weekend?
Yes, I think three this weekend. Is it 3? Well, so we have quite a few lady drivers. There's Mike Yules.
Mike Yules working his way past traffic. So that was John Lambert that stayed out of the way, but Pete Richings sort of lost time there, didn't he? So, and that's some of it, isn't it? Is that depending on where you meet the back markers, they will always be very kind to you where they can, but if you meet them in the wrong place, they can't disappear, and there was nothing Pete Richings could do there. He just had to blend out at the throttle and lose some time.
That's right, that's the way it goes, unfortunately.
Yeah, so Adrian Lester also working his way through the traffic. This is
Alan there challenging Gareth, as you say, and Samantha just ahead, so that's a good battle for Class 2 positions.
It is,
and we've got Neil Chapman just behind them, so a good old battle going on there, as is often the case. There's always good battling within Class 2.
Yeah, so that's 16th place Gareth Salter, but that's 5th in Class 2 with under pressure from the number 87 car, which is Samantha Evans right behind. And as you say, that is a class battle between that pair. Here we go. This is for the lead of the class, and taking up the lead of the class goes Michelle Hayward, sweeping away past Mathieu Gauthier Thornton. But that is fantastic move on the run towards Ritchie's. Fast corner, isn't it, as you throw that car in?
It's nearly flat out in the Class 2 car. It's a really daunting corner, and that. So.
And again, when you come into Clubmans racing, we're talking about the aerodynamics and the way the Hankook tyre works. It's switching your mind to the fact that you have to trust the aero. The quicker you go into a corner, the more grip you have.
Yeah, get the tyres working hard, and then, as you say,
the aero
get more,
pushing
get more grip. And
it's counterintuitive, isn't it, when you get into a car for the first time?
Have up, so it's Mike Upton spun there, one of the Class B runners spun there. But no, this is it. The more you push, the more the tyres work, the more grip you have, and it's just a cycle. And you've got to have confidence in the car.
Trust the car, yeah.
And this is it. And obviously, it's just getting that initial push on the car and getting the tyres working, and then it really comes as one.
It also Martin Walker has finally worked his way through and past Paul Freeman's car by the look of things. The slightly delayed car through the traffic of Peter Richings has fallen away again very slightly from Mike Yules. Sector time suggesting that the gap is coming out even further this time through, so it does look as though Mike Yules is ever more settled into that position. But for the lead of the race, it's really lead of the race, Cody Ware is working his way now through and past the traffic. That's Gareth Salter that is behind him. I saw the 7, I saw the colour of the car for a split second. I thought Steve Dickens had caught him.
Yeah, I'm going to say Steve's there or thereabouts, isn't he, behind? Obviously the gap has closed down to 1.7 seconds, but I guess that's really
through the traffic, isn't it?
Yeah. The back markers.
Yes, they've gone past Alan Cook's car. Cody Tree has. That's the next car that Steve Dickens needs to thread his way through and pass. But there's only 30 seconds remaining on the clock. So you picked out Cody Tree as being one of those to watch out for at the beginning of this race, having learnt a lot over the course of the weekend, both about the car and obviously bearing in mind what happened between himself and that incident between himself and Clive Wood on the final lap. It looks as though, good learning curve, all taken on board by the 24-year-old from Exeter, and having claimed his first win of the season earlier on in the day, it looks as though he's on for the double, doesn't it?
Yeah, indeed. No, he's going strong. It's good to see, and obviously not running into the tyres, but as you say, we've got Clive Wood coming on strong behind, setting fastest laps, but I think the gap's now, 14 seconds, still too far to go.
I did say I thought third was as good as it was going to get, but Clive Wood just showing that maybe, had he not have had the problems in race number 2 and having to start off the back of the grid following his finishing position from the race earlier on, he could have been a force to be reckoned with. So up to third, a 1 minute 54.865 would net him the fastest lap of the race, which does give him an extra championship point, doesn't it?
Indeed, but no, it's quite funny. We've actually had a chat about it. It's obviously double hamper, because Clive, rather than coming over the start-finish line and pulling off, he went down the pit lane, which is a safer option, but it's penalised in 2 ways, because obviously he lost no finish in the last race, and
there we go. Cody Tree takes the checkered flag, so Cody Tree claims the win in our third race here at Snetterton, making it 2 for the weekend, 2 for today. In second place is going to be the number 7 car of Steve Dickens in second place, and we should see, having come off the back of the grid, as you were just alluding to, Mike Evans, who joins me in the commentary box, Clive Wood. Good result from him, and despite that sort of snatch of the tyres and the flat spot, didn't really affect him, did it?
No, he's going strong now. It's good to see.
Jared Lester, number 68, will finish in 4th position. Where's Mike Yules? He should head over the start finish line.
And then Pete Richings all going there. Still nose to tail. Those two are the good old tussle.
They have. Adrian Lester comes through in 7th place. Here's his number 66 car. And in 8th place will be the first of the non-Class 1 cars. Michelle Haywood on course for a win in Class CSP2.
You never know in Class 2. It can always happen. Change the last...
it has happened.
As I said, yes.
Michelle Haywood facing the wrong way at Murray's. Mathieu Gaultier-Thornton having to take to the grass to avoid her. And it is going to be the number 20 car, despite the rally crossing moment at Murray's, that's going to pick up the class win. And poor old Michelle Haywood. It was so close, wasn't it?
He's over the moon. That's his first win. Oh, brilliant. So what was I saying about you never know the last corner?
I'm blaming that commentator's curse on you, Mr. Evans. I really, really am. So the rest of the cars just trickling their way over. I'll guide you through the results in a few moments' time, because the last couple of cars are just taking the checkered flag. But I think this is the first time that we've ever live streamed the Clubmans Sports Prototype Cup, and it's been a great weekend to do it, Mike. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, pleasure. It's been superb racing, and a new perspective watching it on the big screen and everything like that. And I hope people at home who've not able to be here have really enjoyed themselves. I've had a lot of texts from around the UK, and we've also from people in America watching as well. So it's gone down really, really well.
I'm pleased it's gone down well, and hopefully we will be able to do it again. So we will guide you through the results in just a few moments' time.
Yeah.
So if you are tuning in, we have had a few technical issues. You probably, if you're watching the stream, may well be aware that there are a few technical issues with the live stream. Rest assured, what we will be doing is uploading full replays of all of those to the Clubmans YouTube channel. So if you've had interrupted transmissions because of the technical issues we've had with our feed at this end, then rest assured, as soon as we can, probably within the matter of the next few hours or days, the full replays will be up there. So we're saying some good feedback from around the world that we've enjoyed doing it. Hopefully we'll get to do it again as well.
And indeed, yes, it was really, really good. And as you say, it's great to see that obviously the Clubmans Sports Prototype channel on YouTube now with something, and quite a few of the drivers put their onboard footage onto that over the next few days. And the Silverstone one was really, really hairy to see. So it'll be fascinating what we see from this weekend.
Driver's eye view. Thanks, Mike Evans, for joining us. All the very best for the rest of the year. Let's just guide you through the results then. Number 71, Cody Tree, claims the win, his second of the day. In second place was 7, which is Steve Dickens. And third place went the way of the number 50 car of Clive Wood. Fourth was Jared Lester. In fifth place was Mike Yules. And sixth place was Pete Richings. Seventh place was Adrian Lester. In eighth place, gaining that Class 2 victory at the very final corner was Mathieu Gauthier-Thornton. Michelle Haywood did recover, though, to finish in 9th place and 2nd in class, and completing the top 10 was the number 55 car, which was Ben Mallock. Other class winners that finished outside of the top 10, the winner in Class CSP3, Class A, was number 5, which was Steve Chaplin. And as it has been all weekend, hadn't had a win in the class before this weekend, and now has claimed the hat-trick this weekend. Car number 25 was the winner of Class CSP3B, which was Martin Walker. So that gives you all the class winners and gives you the top 10 as well. So that's it for the Clubman Sports Prototype Championship from here at Snetterton. Thanks for joining us for the first ever live stream for the club. We hope it's not the last, but either way, we've had a thoroughly enjoyable day. And don't forget, if you have been interrupted with some of the technical issues that we've had, those live feeds will be uploaded into YouTube so that you can rewatch them at your convenience in the future. Plus, as Mike Evans suggested, some of the drivers' eye views as well. So from all of the team here from the Clubman Sports Prototype Championship and myself, Mark Werrell, thanks for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you again very soon indeed. Until then, goodbye.